The man is eating sleeping pills in large amounts. At 30 years old, having achieved nothing, he planned to end his life on Children's Day. Unfortunately, he was discovered by the landlord. When Shang Wan opened his eyes again, he was already lying on a hospital bed, with a woman opposite him staring at him in surprise. Shang Wan felt very uncomfortable being stared at, and it was then that he realized a middle-aged man appeared next to him at some point. Seeing the man smoking fearlessly, Shang Wan wanted to remind him that this was a hospital. Unexpectedly, a nurse came over directly, took the cigarette from his hand, and severely reprimanded him. Shang Wan was a bit confused. Why was the cigarette in his hand, and everyone around seemed unable to see the uncle? Could it be that only someone about to die can see spirits? The hospital quickly discovered his thoughts and sent Shang Wan to the psychiatric department, while the uncle remained by his side. Upon arrival, Shang Wan shared his experiences with the doctor. Just as the doctor diagnosed him with post-traumatic stress disorder, Shang Wan faintly heard the sound of a woman crying and followed the sound to the front of a cabinet. I was startled when I opened the cabinet, and sure enough, there was a woman inside crying, repeatedly apologizing and saying sorry. Shang Wan wanted to ask the doctor what was going on, but in the doctor's view, the cabinet was actually empty. Shortly after, 2 orderlies came and took Shang Wan away, and this time the woman also became one of those on the returning bed. At night, Shang Wan suddenly felt an urgent need to urinate, but on his way to the restroom, he discovered an odd old man. He was crouching on the counter, peeking under the nurse's skirt. At this moment, the old man also noticed Shang Wan behind him, slowly turned his head around, and his head gradually became larger. Shang Wan was startled and ran back to the room without even using the restroom. But as soon as he entered, he was stunned. All the ghosts he saw today were floating above his head, and their heads had become enormous. Shang Wan was so scared that he fainted and lay on the ground until dawn. He wished yesterday had been a dream. But then a child appeared beside him, jumping on the hospital bed. Shang Wan tentatively called the child, and the doctor's expressions revealed that the child wasn't human either. In no time, Shang Wan was discharged from the hospital, and the 4 spirits continued to follow him. Even when crossing the street to return home, they never left his side. Clearly, they wanted to live with Shang Wan. The already miserable life is now even worse. Normally, they all share Shang Wan's body. When the old man uses it, he doesn't touch a drop of alcohol. Shang Wan can drink 20 bottles of baijiu, and when drunk, goes to the balcony to urinate.
지금 뭐 하는 거예요?
When the uncle uses it, it's even more outrageous, as he smokes 10 packs of cigarettes a day. And when the child uses it, he eats junk food from morning till night. Fortunately, the woman cries constantly every day and generally doesn't possess the body of Shang Wan, but she has a peculiar habit. She would lie down with Shang Wan every day.
뭐야. 잠도 자요?
Over time, the younger ones become physically and mentally exhausted. Even though they sleep in bed at night, they often wake up on the floor the next day. In the over 30 degrees Celsius summer, he would often be woken up frozen at night.
나 건강 생각하던 사람이야. 혼자 살려면 몸뚱이가 얼마나 건강해야 되는지 알아? 당신들은 제사상 차려주는 사람들도 없어? 왜 나한테 와서 이래? 내가 우스워? 재수없어 진짜!
By looking at the expressions on the faces of these ghosts, I suddenly understood that they didn't seem to be human. As the saying goes, every trade has its master. Shang Wan had no choice but to seek help from a master to get rid of the ghosts. However, the master said it was because Shang Wan had attempted suicide before that they were drawn to him. Unless their wishes are fulfilled, they are not likely to leave. To get rid of the ghosts as soon as possible, Shang Wan gathered everyone for a meeting and asked them to state their unfinished wishes. The ghosts gladly agreed to Shang Wan's request. First was the elder's wish. He wanted to give a camera to his old friend. So Shang Wan visited various shopping centers. But after searching all day, he couldn't find what the old man wanted. Shang Wan was about to collapse, feeling that the old man was playing with him. Unexpectedly, the old man said the camera wasn't in the store at all. Shang Wan then realized that the old man already knew where the camera was. Angrily, he asked why he didn't say so earlier. But the old man replied that if Shang Wan didn't ask, he couldn't provide clues on his own. Shang Wan suffered a silent loss, but fortunately, he now knows the camera is with the police officer. So Shang Wan went to find the officer overnight. Could it be? Coincidentally, the police were tracking a criminal at the time. Due to Shang Wan's sudden intrusion, the criminal was alerted and successfully escaped. Because he obstructed official duties, Shang Wan was detained in holding, but this also gave him a chance to ask for details. However, no matter how he inquired, the police completely ignored him. At this time, the old man played a crucial role. He knew the police officer well, and revealed many embarrassing things from the officer's past. The police officer was immediately stunned and quickly stepped forward to make him stop talking. Naturally, the camera was given to him. With the camera, he found the old friend of the old man. You do not read books. It could be that the old friend has also reached the twilight years. Even though they haven't seen each other for over 20 years, he knows that this young man in front of him is a long-lost friend. The two, who haven't met for many years, caught up in the cafeteria, and this behavior also caught the attention of the...
술 드신 건 아니죠? 술 드시면 안 돼요.
Shangwan turned his head toward the sound and saw Yanshu, who looked like an angel. For the first time in her 30 years of being single, she felt a flutter in her heart. The old man next to her also noticed Wan's change and decided to help him on his own. The old man clasped his hands behind his back and walked toward Yanshu.
아까부터 자꾸 이쪽 쳐다보시던데. 나 보는 거요? 아니면 저 늙은 환자 보는 거요?
네?
아이고, 한번 쳐다봐 주지 그러셨어. 그쪽 눈빛이라면 염통이 터지는 한이 있어도 내 감내하겠소만.
That's all I was going to instruct. With a pose he thought was very cool. In the end, the old man obviously failed. Next is the little boy. His wish is to see an animated movie. Coincidentally, at the cinema, he ran into Yanshu, who also brought a little boy to watch a movie. This boy is a cancer patient in the hospital. The two greeted each other briefly. While watching the movie, the little boy laughed heartily. However, from Yanshu's perspective, it appeared as if Shangwan was laughing foolishly on his own. Yanshu was filled with confusion about this 30-year-old man. After the movie ended, Shangwan bought the little boy a toy, and then Yanshu appeared again. The little boy was attracted by the lollipop, and while Yanshu stepped away, went up to ask for the lollipop. When Yanshu returned, he saw Shangwan reaching out and quickly took the boy away first. Unfortunately, they mentioned going to eat black bean noodles, which the boy overheard, so he followed Yanshu to the restaurant. Shangwan's way of eating can be described as indescribable, but somehow it attracted the nearby little boy. He came up to Shangwan, and the two seemed to become friends, which surprised Yanshu a bit. After the meal, they went to the candy store. There, the relationship seemed to have changed a bit. Shangwan also successfully got Yanshu's business card. The uncle's wish was to drive a car once, so Shangwan knocked on the door of the used car market. As the two of them picked out cars, the uncle finally chose a taxi. The two were driving on the highway. The uncle wanted to take Shangwan to see the sea, which was also Shangwan's first time seeing the ocean. Sitting by the sea, they started to chat. Shangwan curiously asked if the uncle was married. The uncle replied that he was not only married but also had 2 children. Shangwan thinks that living like that must be very tiring. The uncle said that sometimes it is indeed very tiring, but on the other hand, a home that originally had 1 person now has 4 people. It seems like family could make one feel exhausted, but they also give you strength. The two finished this heavy topic, and the older man wanted to relax in the sea, which troubled Shangwan, who couldn't swim. He desperately objected, but his body didn't listen and followed the older man into the sea. This was Shangwan's first time swimming, and he struggled desperately not to sink, but the more he struggled, the more he went down. At this point, the older man told him to overcome his fear and relax his body, so the seawater naturally supports her. Shangwan tried to understand the uncle's words. Slowly, his body indeed stopped sinking. At this moment, he seemed to really learn how to swim. Since he was born, Shangwan felt the sea for the first time. Although the seawater was salty and cold, it was also so vast and dazzling. At this moment, the other ghosts also arrived at the seaside. At this instant, they indeed looked so harmonious and warm. But on the way back driving, the car was unfortunately spotted by the traffic police. Since Shangwan didn't have a driver's license, he was taken to the detention center. The traffic police asked him to give a relative's phone number so someone could come to take him away. But Shangwan had lived alone since childhood and didn't have any family in this world. Seeing the police officers becoming increasingly impatient, Shangwan suddenly remembered Yanshu's business card and handed it to the officers with a hopeful heart. But until evening, everyone around was picked up by their relatives, and Yanshu still hadn't shown up. Shangwan's heart also grew cold. He muttered to himself, "Why am I always so unlucky? Others can easily receive family love, but I don't even have one family member. Why is it that during festivals, everyone else is happy, and only I remain lonely, alone?" He was called an orphan by others, so he always worked hard at life, but life always seemed to target him. Just as Shangwan was once again disheartened with the world, she didn't notice Yanshu had already been standing at the door. Yanshu came in front of Shangwan and directly placed his head on her chest. This sudden action left Shangwan somewhat at a loss. On the way home, Yanshu told Shangwan that her parents gave her a very healthy heart so to honor them, she should live well. Yanshu's words were like a strong light, piercing through the endless darkness in Shangwan's heart. Now, only the wish of the female ghost remains. Her wish is very simple. She wants to cook for her family, but just as Shangwan asks where her family is, at that moment the woman said maybe forget it, just a few of them would be enough, and also asked Shangwan to invite Yanshu over. So the two of them went to the market. This time, unexpectedly, the woman did not cry, but happily held on to Shangwan's arm. In the evening, the woman prepared a large table full of dishes, and Yanshu, who was also invited, came to the house. She was very surprised that Shangwan could cook so many dishes by herself, but it was during the meal that Yanshu noticed something was amiss. Tens of thousands of expressions. One moment like an innocent and romantic child, the next like an old man speaking greasy sweet nothings. And then there's an extremely emotionally unstable woman serving him a plate of her best dish. Shangwan's unstable emotions made Yanshu feel a touch of panic. Ultimately, she chose to leave first, clearly rejecting Shangwan's kindness. Just as Yanshu left, in the instant the door closed, Shangwan's heart closed as well. Clearly life seemed to be heading in a good direction, but it ended up like this. He wanted to vent all his anger.
소원도 다 들어줬는데 안 가요? 초딩, 영화 봤잖아. 안 가냐? 거기 변태. 내가 욕 먹어가며 카메라 찾아줬잖아. 안 가요? 어이 꼴초. 무면허인 내가 경찰서까지 들락거리며 그 정도 했으면 된 거 아니야? 안 갈 거야? 어이 울보 아줌마. 밥 잘 먹었어. 설거지는 내가 할게. 가. 소원도 다 들어줬으니까 나는 더 필요 없잖아. 이제 그만들 가줘요.
It didn't only the bent of the woman Pat's ran. Saw the helmet in white again. Says there were nothing left in the world to hold on to. Shangwan went to the store and bought charcoal. He decided to leave by gas poisoning. Just at the brink of death, Yanshu's image suddenly appeared in his mind. He seemed so out of reach, yet he could bring strength to move forward. This made Shangwan give up the thought of ending his life. He decided to strive for his life once more. With the bento made by the woman, he went to the hospital and saw Yanshu again. Shangwan had so much to say. For being awkward in communication, he awkwardly took out the bento. Shangwan apologized for yesterday's incident, and Yanshu gladly accepted. But she's very curious about one thing.
어제부터 신기했는데 보통은 김밥에 시금치를 넣잖아요. 근데 상만 씨는 미나리를 넣네요.
아, 그거요? 그거 우리 엄마가 미나리가 피에 좋다고 늘 시금치 대신 미나리를 넣었거든요.
For a moment, Shangwan seemed to understand something.
미나리가 피를 맑게 해줘서 좋아. 아. 우리 상만이는 얼마나 커야 엄마가 팔짱 끼고 장 볼 수 있을까?
10,000 quickly stood up. At this moment, he remembered everything and ran with all his might in the direction of home. The woman was actually his mother, and a little boy was his brother. His wish was to take 10,000 to see a movie.
형이 가면 꼭 보여줄게.
Daddy's wish was to drive everyone to see the ocean. Grandpa, to make it easier to take pictures, forcibly borrowed a camera from an old friend, but unfortunately, a car accident happened on the way. In a critical moment, Mom used her body to shield Shangwan. The entire family lost their lives in the accident. Shangwan, who miraculously survived, lost his memories of the family due to a head injury. Shangwan finally remembered his past self. No matter how much he shouted, he never got any response.
갈 생각하지 마! 갈 생각하지 말라고! 가지 마! 가지 마! 가지 마! 형이냐?
상만아, 울다 웃으면 똥꼬에 털 난다.
고백했냐? 여자한테 통하는 거 딴 거 없다. 진심이다. 마이 큰데, 응? 우리 아들? 담배 끊어라.
당신이 가르쳐 준 거잖아.
당신 아니고 아빠. 운전은 배우고 아빠가 운전도 가르쳐 줄게. 너 사고 안 나게 늘 옆에서 같이 운전해 줄게.
미안해.
엄마. 나도 같이 가면 안 돼?
엄마가 미안해. 엄마가
The family stood together for another group photo. Everyone was smiling happily. Only Shang Wan pouted like a child. What she didn't know was that, in the life she thought was lonely, her family was never absent. Until Shang Wan got married and had a new family, they never left.